everybody, and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Pro Enzo Vids. And this afternoon is my round 26 NRL tips for 2025. Look, next week's the last regular round of the season to conclude the regular season of 2025. So just this round, the next round, and that's it. The finals is about to start. Couple interesting results happened last week that confirm some teams' fate for the rest of the year. Like, some teams are now confirmed to miss finals. Some are still mathematically alive, even though it's tough for some teams, like my boys Manly. But there's hope. It's obviously going to be a interesting last few weeks to see what happens and that. Hopefully, we get the best possible top 8. And hopefully it delivers come finals time, which I'm sure it will. But as always, though, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And everyone, thank you for your new support. My current goal of 5,750 subscribers is very close to being hit. So about 2 subs away, actually. So if I can get those 2 subs overnight, that would be fantastic, because my goal of 5,750 subscribers will be cracked. So hopefully it gets there. Some games to look forward to this week, in my honest opinion. I do feel like, it's funny. On Thursday night, I was going to say Dogs and Panthers would be a great game to watch. It might still be, because Penrith have great backup players, but far out. 16 players haven't rested for the Panthers. So I'll be very shocked if Dogs don't win this game, but it could have been a blockbuster if Penrith played all their big names, but it's a Park Penrith side pretty much. It's Brothers Penrith playing on Thursday night. Another game that will be quite good is Storm Roosters. That's going to be a blockbuster as well. Dragons Manly, another tough game to tip. Cowboys Broncos, rivalry there. And that's pretty much it, actually. Bring on round 26 and let's get into the tips. So on Thursday night, it's the Bulldogs versus Brothers Penrith at Accor Stadium. Have to say Brothers Penrith, because that's what the side looks like. Bulldogs Panthers. Dogs last week were very unlucky not to beat the Storm. They were very close, and I felt like after 3 bomb chances, they should have won the game, but I guess Storm's quality held the Bulldogs out in the end, but the Dogs realistically should have won the game, I felt like. But, they had their chances, I guess, so Dogs have to work hard for this win, but maybe not, because of who's out for Penrith, so it might be an easier game for them, but I guess you can't take any game easy in the NRL, no matter who isn't playing, I guess. But as for Penrith, they lost again in goal point to the Raiders, 20-16, due to that incredible Kyle Bates try. So, a bit tough for Penrith losing back-to-back goal point games, because that has ultimately cost them a top 4 spot, hence why they're resting all these players, because they know that top 4's out of reach for them. So, they're going to just rest all those players, I guess, which is fair enough. Looking at both these sides, for the Bulldogs, first of all, Josh Curran comes into the starting side for Viliami Kikau, who has been hospitalised with a skin infection. Harry Hayes is facing 6 weeks on the sidelines with a hamstring injury, so Daniel Sluka Fafita has been added to the bench. As for Penrith, pretty easy to figure out. 16 players rested, but 4 debutants for the Panthers, though. Zach Lipowicz, John Fanua, David Farley, and Billy Phillips will all make their NRL debuts on Thursday night. So, going to be making 4 NRL debutant videos in one. Making a debut review of 4 NRL debutants in one video, I was meant to say. So, unusual debut review coming up. But looking at this game, though, I think the Bulldogs have to win right. Like, they can't lose to this understrength Penrith side. If they do, it's very embarrassing, but I think Dogs win 13 plus on Thursday night. So I'll go Bulldogs to win. Let's go Bulldogs 32-18. First try scorer, I'll go Marcelo Montoya. And anytime try scorers, I'm going to go with Jacob Preston for the Bulldogs. And for Penrith, if they do score, Paul Alamotti. I've heard good things about him in reserve grades, so I think Alamotti might get a try on Thursday night. Okay, on Friday night at 6 p.m, it's the Warriors versus Eels at Go Media Stadium in Auckland. The Warriors, they are very, very close to securing a top 4 spot, but I believe they have to beat Parramatta this week and beat my boys Manly next week to obviously confirm their spot for good. But yeah, Warriors got a great win over the Titans last week. I think for a while there, we weren't sure Warriors were going to wrap up the game or not, but I think towards like the 60th minute, you can tell that Warriors were playing with a bit more purpose. So that win against the Gold Coast Titans was quite important for sure. As for Parramatta, they had a very impressive win over the Roosters, a big upset win, I guess you can say. Yeah, Parramatta, they have been the team that's upset a few sides recently. Like they've seemed to ended a few club seasons as of recent, or have caused a boil over to certain clubs recently. So yeah, they can definitely cause upsets, Parramatta. So could there be another one on Friday night? I would not be surprised. But looking at both these sides, for the Warriors, Andrew Webster's squad has no real changes. Demetric Varmalga is again named to start with Tanner Stowers-Smith on the bench, but they may swap in game day as they did last week. As for the Eels, Parramatta have the same 17 that got the win over the Roosters last week. Sean Russell is named as 18th man as he looks to return from a hand injury. And Josh Adokar will play his 200th NRL game, so might chuck that in the bets. Adokar for a try in his 200th game. I can see it. Alright, my prediction for this game. I think Para are a real chance here, I really do. But I'll go safe and tip the Wires here because this is the Warriors' last regular home season game for the year. And I feel like they'll repay their fans with a big win because I think it's been a while since the Warriors have won at home. Well, maybe not actually, but they haven't been winning at home as of late that much. So I feel like they'll, give the fans some joy getting the win at home. So yeah, I think Warriors will get the job done here. So Wires to win. I'll go Warriors to win 26 points to 20. A few points in there. First try scorer, I'll go Dallin Watene-Lesniak. Anytime try scorers, gonna go with Chanel Harris-Tavita to score anytime, and for the Parramatta Eels, going to go with Will Pinasini for a try. Next up, the main event, it's the Storm vs Roosters at Amy Park in Melbourne. Now, the last time these two sides played, not too long ago actually, the Roosters nearly got the win over the Storm at Allianz Stadium. Very high-scoring game. It was like 32 to 30 or 34 something. I don't know, but it was a high-scoring game from memory. But Storm obviously got the win over the Bulldogs last week. I guess it was not too bad of a win, but obviously they just got the job done as Dogs were at their heels quite a bit during the game. But the Storm will take the victory and they will go into this game with a lot of confidence. But as for Roosters, they were not great at all against the Parramatta Eels. Real shock actually to lose 26 to 10 to the Parramatta side, but that's credit to Parra for playing really well and showing up. If Roosters won, they would have secured a top 8 spot, I believe. But yeah, that loss to Parramatta now makes their opportunity for a final spot really hard. So they got to keep winning. So we'll see what happens. But looking at both these sides, for the Storm, Bronson Garlick takes over at hooker for the suspended Harry Grant, while Atavalu Lasati joins the bench in place of Tuikama Kamika, who's out with concussion. Coates, Meaney, Katoa, Josh King have all been rested for this game. Suolagi, Tuimalatu, Brown, and Kane Bradley are the new wingers in the team. Grant Anderson goes to centre. Alec McDonald starts at prop. Sean Bloor returns from an ankle injury in the back row. And Nelson has been added to the bench. Big in there. And Will Warbrick is named among the reserves as he looks to return from a concussion injury and he made his return to rugby league last week for the Sunshine Coast Falcons from that concussion injury as well. So good on him. Good to see. And for Roosters, Savala goes to halfback with Sam Walker out. Sanders Smith 5'8", and veteran winger Daniel Tupou returns after missing round 25 with concussion. No changes in the forward pack for the Roosters. All right. My prediction for this game, it's going to be a good game, this one, I feel like. I know Sam Walker's out, but I still feel like the quality will live on in this game. However, though, I'll go the Storm. I think Storm will be a bit too strong for the Roosters. I think Munster and Pappenhausen will be the main reasons why they win. So I'll go Storm, but not by much. I'll say Storm to win maybe 24 points to 16. First try scorer, I'll go that young guy, Suilagi Tuimalatu Brown on the wing for the Storm. And anytime try scorers, I'll go Ryan Pappenhausen. And for the Roosters, Billy Smith for a try. Right, on to Super Saturday. It is the first game of 3. It's the Raiders versus West Tigers at GIO Stadium in Canberra. Now, the Raiders had an incredible win over the Panthers last week in Mudgee. 20 points to 16 win over the Panthers. Incredible ending to a great game. The Raiders' resilience was the reason why they won. Like, Penrith had the Raiders on their heels a few times, but I think, like I said, Raiders' resilience was the reason why they won. They kept fighting, they didn't give in, they kept competing, and that's why they won. So that attitude for the Raiders will be huge come finals time. And as for the West Tigers, well, complete different end of the spectrum for them. They bombed a great lead against the Cowboys, losing, I think it was 34-28, the score was. They led like 28, I don't know what the score was. It was like 28-16 or something, I swear. And the Tigers bombed a good lead overall, though, to the Cowboys, who were great in their comeback. But yeah, unfortunately, that's the Tigers season done now due to that loss. But looking at both these sides, for the Raiders, big in Sevilio Tamales back on the wing, and that's good timing because Xavier Savage is out for the season with a shoulder injury. So hopefully, best recovery is there for Xavier Savage, gun player. Tamales back. First game since round 14. West Tigers team, Dewey facial fracture is out for the rest of the year. So Latu Fainu starts at halfback and Heath Mason joins the bench. Stafford Toa returns from a shoulder injury in the centres. So Brendan Aiden goes back to reserve grade. All right, my tip for this game. Look, it's very hard to go past Canberra, so I'll be back in the Raiders on Saturday afternoon. I'll go Canberra's win 13 plus. I'm thinking a scoreline of 36 points to 18. First try, going with Kyle Weeks. And anytime try scorers, I've got Ethan Strange, the 5'8", and for the West Tigers, I'll go Jarrell Skelton for a try. All right, 5:30 p.m. kickoff. It's the Dragons versus Manly side at Jubilee Oval. Now, the last time Manly won at Jubilee Oval, believe it or not, now, I don't know how many people know this, but the last time we actually won at Cogra was 2014, so it's been a long time. Frustrating because, that's over 10 years now since we've won at this venue. But I guess, to be fair, since 2014, we've only played Cogra twice. That was in 2020 and 2022. So we haven't played many times at Cogra, more at Wynn Stadium or Brookie. But yeah, look, hopefully it's a win on Saturday afternoon for the boys. But yeah, see how we go. Dragons, obviously, they were horrible against the Rabbitohs, losing 40-0. That was shocking by them. But Manly were very good against the Dolphins, winning 58-30. But got to tighten up that defense a little bit. All right, looking at both these sides. For the Dragons, the Red V have Jaden Stewart back from injury and Jack DeBellin back and Hamasele back, all from concussion and knee, which was for Sewer. Leilua goes to the bench. Ben Merck-Masila drops out, while Damien Cook goes back to hooker and Jacob Little goes to the bench. Tyrell Sloan has been recalled on the wing for Corey Allen. All right, for Manly's side, for our side, looks like we're 1 through 17, no changes, as expected after a win. But Joey Walsh is 18th man yet again, so I hope Joey debuts next week in that last regular season game of the year for us against the Warriors. I think he will. All right, my prediction for this game. Well, as always, though, backing my boys Manly, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Look, I think Dragons have potential to win because Manly's record against the Dragons overall is pretty bad. Like, the Dragons are our well-known bogey team, to be fair. But I'll give the boys every chance to win on Saturday. Hopefully they can back up a big win like we did on Saturday against the Dolphins. So, yeah, hopefully a good win coming. But I'll go Manly to win. Let's go Seagulls 30, Dragons 22. A few points in there. First try scorer, I'm backing Tolu Kola. Man's on a streak right now. And anytime try scorers for both sides. Dragons, Tyrell Sloan, and for Manly, I'll go Lehigh Hopewati. Alrighty, on to the last game of Super Saturday. It's the Cowboys versus Broncos at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. The last time these two sides played, I believe, was back in round 3 at Suncorp Stadium, where the Broncos won in a very close game against the Cowboys. But yeah, this time around it's Cowboys' last game of the year because they have to buy in round 27. So I guess they end their season in Townsville, which they probably hope for a third straight win because they beat Knights, beat the Tigers in a comeback win. So I guess their goal would be to try and end the season well in Townsville, basically, even though they can't make finals. As for Broncos, they were very clinical last week against the Knights. Way too good for them. I think Reynolds is named in the reserves, so he could be a late inclusion maybe. But Broncos have confirmed their place for finals, so they will be quite scary come finals time, I reckon. But looking at both these sides for the Cowboys, Todd Payton sticks with the same 17 that beat the Tigers last week. Amali Bitsagani and Nick Lenaz are part of the extended squad after making their NRL debuts in recent weeks. For the Broncos, like I said, Reynolds is named among the reserves as he looks to return from a hamstring injury. Brendan Piakura returns from concussion on the bench with Jesse Arthurs moving to 18th man. Feel bad for Jesse Arthurs actually. Had a great start to the year. Now he's nothing more than a reserve backup winger now. So yeah, disappointing for him. But looking at this game though, who I think will win. If Cowboys win, I wouldn't be shocked because last game of the year in Townsville, want to give something positive to their fans. However, I think Broncos will be too strong. Broncos' weapons are very, very threatening, and I feel like that could be the difference in the game towards the end. Like Reece Walsh, Staggs, Mariner, Shibasaki, and maybe Reynolds if he plays. But Broncos have points in them. They are very threatening with ball in hand. So I think Broncos might get the job done over the Cowboys here. But expect Cowboys to show some fight in their final game of the year. So I'll go Broncos to win. Let's go Bronx. 32 points to 24. First try scorer, I'll go Josiah Karapani, and anytime try scorers for both these sides, going with Braden Burns and Reece Walsh for any time. All right, on to Sunday afternoon. It is the Sharks versus Knights at Shark Park in Cronulla, 2 p.m. kickoff. Look, Cronulla, they are definitely in some form right now. I think they had the bye last week, but the week before the bye, they played the Gold Coast Titans and they thrashed them by 50 at home. So if that game was to go off anything by, and when Titans are, I think they should put a score on Newcastle, if I'm being completely honest. But I guess we'll find out what night side turns up on Sunday. Newcastle, they were very average against the Broncos, lost by a big margin at home. So Knights definitely in a world of pain right now. That's the best players to sort of sum it up, I guess, for them. But looking at both these sides, for the Sharks welcome back Kale Ero from a 3-month layoff with a pectoral injury, so big in there for Cronulla. Talakai slides to the bench. Jesse Colahoun is the new 13 at lock, with Cameron McInnes gone for the year with a knee injury. Brandon Hamlin-Uele has been added to the bench at the expense of Tuku Hautapua. And for the Knights now, Adam O'Brien has the same 17 this week. Greg Marju named 18th man and was a late withdrawal last Sunday with a back injury. All right, my prediction for this game, look, I think Sharks win 13 plus. The Sharks should win it well here. I'll go Cronulla to win maybe 40 points to 12. Honestly, first try scorer, I'll go Sione Katoa. Anytime try scorers, going with Braden Trindle. And if not score at all, probably Dom Young. And the last game for round 26, it ends up with a Queensland derby. It's the Dolphins versus Titans at Suncorp Stadium, 4 p.m. kickoff. So, the Dolphins, they are on a real lack of form right now. They are definitely facing a lot of adversity as of late, the Dolphins. From scoring points to now conceding a lot of points. So, it's funny how Dolphins have been a bit like that this season. Can score points but can concede a lot. Like, they conceded 58 to Manly, but put 30 on us somehow. So, they are a very funny side, the Dolphins. But they must win this game to keep their top 8 hopes alive. That's for sure. And as for the Titans, they were, yet again, average against the Warriors. Early on, they showed some fight, the Titans, but they just can't get can't get those wins, unfortunately, the Titans. So yeah, kind of puts themselves more of a chance of winning the spoon now. So yeah, we'll see what happens this week though. Looking at both these sides, for the Dolphins, Nicarima returns at 5'8". They missed him last week a lot. So Jake Avrillo goes to centre, and Max Figo makes way. Lemuelu starts in the back row in the place of Kulikefa Finafiliaki out with an ankle injury. So the new man on the bench is Alblix Tawa. And for the Titans, same 17 that lost to the Warriors last week for Dez. And yeah, no changes there for the Gold Coast Titans. All right. My tip for this game, I think the Dolphins should win. I know Dolphins have lost 3 straight games now, but I feel like with Nicarima back, Katoa being a bit more used to someone like Cody in that team, I think them two will combine for a lot more points than what the Titans can offer. So I'll go the Dolphins to win 13 plus. I'm thinking Dolphins 34-16. First try scorer, I'm going with Izzy Katoa as well for first try. Yep, don't know why, but I feel like that could happen. And anytime try scorers, going with Hamiso for a try due this week. And for the Titans, going with Brian Kelly for a try. But that right there was my round 26 NRL tips for this weekend. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And thanks for your continued support. It means a lot. Have a good week, everyone.